teaching them that, I feel like I kind of opened the door to learn myself.
You are enough to show up the way that you are.
As long as it reaches somebody, that's all I care about, because it's so much negativity out there that, like, if I can get one person a day, I'm doing my job.
We overestimate our impact in the short term and under in the long term.
Knowing that it's okay to fail, like, you don't have to be perfect.
You're listening to episode 22 of the Apology Void podcast.
Welcome. And we have another guest with us today.
Yeah.
Hi.
We have our first male guest today, which is really phenomenal.
Wow.
What? Really?
I feel honored. That's what's up.
Okay, but double whammy here. You're also our first American guest.
Wow. Wow. Okay, double honored then.
So
Double honored.
you're like representing a whole group of folk here, but I
The
figured
world.
the whole world. But I figured like you would probably be the most appropriate gentleman to be the first male voice on our podcast. When we were thinking of people who could fill that role, you were literally the first one that came to mind. I was like, of course, I know this person. They're amazing.
But I appreciate that. That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yay!
So I actually don't know Zach at all. I know nothing about, and I've purposely done that. So I want to start off by saying, Zach, can you tell me a bit about you and where in America are you even from? Because I don't even know that.
I am in Illinois. I have always been here. Started off in Peoria, Illinois, and then I moved to Springfield in like 2008. I
Nice.
like everything, like literally. All the music, all the comics, well, I don't really read that much, but I listen to books.
Okay.
Um, and I have been a photographer, a professional photographer since 2018, but I have been taking pictures all my life with whatever I can get my hands on.
So you're very creative then. Like
Yeah.
Katie, you're very
Yeah,
creative. Yeah.
And
a little bit.
also incredibly humble. He left out the parts where it's like an award-winning exhibiting photographer with like
Right.
a gallery and an incredible human and activist and somebody who supports a lot of different communities. Forgot a lot of different parts and pieces there that are like terribly important.
Okay.
Well, thanks for reminding me.
All right, we're getting the picture.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so that's how you connected with Katie then, through something creative then. Is that?
Yeah. I think I connected with Katie through a group called Rising Tides. And it's just other small business people here that were wanting to just connect. And obviously, if y'all know her, like, her energy is crazy. So I was like, oh, we can be friends, definitely. Like, she's got the energy like that everybody needs, I feel. And she's always so uplifting and gives the greatest hugs.
Thanks.
You do though. Like that is true.
Thank you. I was like, we did finally get to do those in June. That was nice.
I
Yeah.
was like, well, I wouldn't know, but I do actually know.
You do know? Oh man.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so we have to address the number one thing here in the room, your hat. Right?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that hat?
100%. Um, your anxiety is lying to you. I feel like 90% of the time it is. And I feel like you either need to take action on something or sit back on something most of the time. Um, and I just learned that throughout the years, like, to not let my anxiety, tell me the truth that's not real. Wear it on my hat. I wear it on shirts, sweatshirts. I wear be kind to yourself. I wear kind is cool. Your anxiety is lying to you and you are enough.
I love that. Yeah.
Those
that's
are all things we've talked about here in various episodes over and over and over again. Just the fact that like you as yourself, as the person that you are in every aspect of your being, it's enough. You are enough to show up the way that you are. And a
Yeah,
huge thing that we talk about is how you show up as yourself instead of these masked versions or listening to your anxiety versus um like who you are. So can you tell me a little bit about your journey and where that came from? How you got to that point where you're now repping all this?
um, honestly, it started with not knowing any of it, and um, not having a voice as a child, and like most of my teen years and early adult years too, not knowing how to use my voice. And it was not until I got a divorce, that I was like, I need to do something different, you know? And I went to therapy and started that. And that's when I kind of realized like I need to undo a lot of stuff, and to go forward in a more positive, not only outlook on life, but outlook on myself, and like not be so hard on myself. Um, and I try to show that and help other people do that through my merch. When they work with me, like doing shoots and stuff. And um, my I believe everything that's on my shirts and my hats and stuff, but it started from working with people that as soon as we start doing the photo shoot, they would just let me know all their anxieties, what they don't like about themselves. And I've seen a lane where I can be like, not be a therapist by any means, but um, let somebody know like everybody doesn't see that. You see that. And when I'm working with you, I see a beautiful individual that's wanting to get pictures taken. And when we get done, I want you to see yourself. I want you to recognize yourself, but I want you to see a different version of yourself, so you can it may be able to quiet some of those voices in your head, you know?
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. You're absolutely right because all of it is in our head. Right? Like we think things about ourselves that nobody else sees, that nobody else thinks. And it is a lie. And, you said you didn't read books, but you listened to them. I don't know if you've listened to The Chimp Paradox, and that's
Mm-mm.
a really good one. So I'll throw that out for our listeners, a recommendation. I love to do that sometimes. The Chimp Paradox, it's about, our chimp brain and how it says things negatively towards us. And we have to use our conscious brain to shut that down because it's always going to be like that, nagging little chimp saying
Yeah.
false things about us. So there's a little recommendation for you. Chimp Paradox. It's a really good one. Yeah. What a journey.
For real. And
Yeah.
I never thought photography would do that, you know? When I started this, it was just like I like taking pictures and I like art, so I'm gonna just do it. And then it started to turn into motivating and uplifting people, and um, community outreach, and um, showing a different side of artistically of me, you know. And I love everything that has to do with photography and connecting with people.
Mm. So is that part of your brand? Is that something that people, I guess, come to you for? Is that incorporated in your photography? Or is that something that is, I guess, I won't say a byproduct because I feel like that's a major part, but it's something that just comes up in the shoots? Does that make
Yeah,
sense? Yeah.
yeah. It's been primarily women that it's come up with, and it's been in like boudoir shoots or like more intimate shoots. That's how it started. And they would come to me with insecurities, and again, I would let them know like this isn't about that. You didn't come to me for that. You came to me for, 'cause either this is your first time doing it and you wanted to do it, or you want to feel pretty, or you wanted to feel, something. And by no means are we in the session, are we in the photo shoot and I'm just acting like a therapist, but I'm talking to you, and I'm trying to create a safe space where you can relax, and so we can, work and create some
Mm.
stuff. And then, when you see the pictures, a lot of times that's when I get messages. Like that's when I realize when I get messages, they're like, I've never felt this pretty, and I've never seen myself like this, and it's powerful. And the first person to actually do that is my fiance. I took pictures of her, and like she sent me a 5 minute voice memo, and like she was crying, and she was like, I've never seen myself like this before, and I don't know what you're doing. I'm like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just showing you you.
Oh, that's so special.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. Yeah. And what you
Thank you.
create with all of these people is definitely a safe space, and it's definitely pictures, and it's a feeling of beauty and all of that, but it's also such beautifully expressive art. You do these incredible sets that capture people's like raw emotion, and it's like you're not afraid to highlight that and share that because it's part of who they are. And I think that's really a vulnerable experience for both you and maybe the participant, like the subject, but also
Yeah,
for the people who also see it. It helps as like a self-reflective tool, and it's really glorious.
thank you, Katie. What?
The humbleness is coming through, Zach. The humbleness is coming through.
But this is
Katie, you're on
Katie
the money
though.
with that one.
She's always like super happy and positive, and like when I see her, she's always saying kind things. I'm like, Katie, cut it out.
Let's get
Look,
real for a sec.
like if we were all just a little bit nicer to each other and we all just like showed up with kindness, like you said with your shirt, kind is cool. If we all showed up a little bit more like that, how much better would this world be? Or if we just said the things that were on our minds, because so often, like, we look at people and we think, gosh, they're beautiful, or gosh, I love what they're wearing, or man, they're really cool people. Like, what if we just said that instead of keeping it to ourselves? That would
Yeah.
normalize like what I do, but also it would just build a better, I feel like, community and environment all around. Be so cool.
For real.
100%. And you wouldn't be so weird. No, I'm joking.
Thanks.
No, I love you. Anyway, just a sidetrack. Yes, you're right. I just want to go back. Earlier you were saying, Zach, that when you were younger, you felt like you didn't have a voice and that, you couldn't express yourself, and that has changed now, particularly through divorce, perhaps. But was there any type of journey prior to that? Like, was there a point in time that shifted, or what did that look like to get from where you were when you were younger to now being so open and, I guess, liberated?
um, I was raised in a be seen and not heard environment. And so I was quiet a lot. And that also is probably why I was drawn to art. And because that's how I express myself. But I would probably say when I had my daughters that obviously I want them to be respectful, but I want them to have a voice. And I want them to be able to use that voice. And so that's kind of when I was like, yeah, I definitely don't want them to just be quiet. I don't want them to just be seen and not heard. So I want them to be seen and heard. And so, teaching them that, I feel like I kind of opened the door to learn myself, from that.
Yeah, that's special. That's nice. It's like a bit of a mirror. Like you're teaching them and thinking, oh wait, like I'm teaching this so I can do it too, perhaps. Like,
Especially like now, my 9-year-old daughter, like she will wear my merch like around kids and stuff, and they'll like it, and like I'll be feeling down about myself or something or having a bad day, and she'll be like, remember what you always say, and I'm just like, oh my
oh,
gosh.
oh, that's so special. Wow. You've obviously done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, she's definitely listening, and Sal, I'll have to show you a picture of her
Oh, please do.
online because like it shows up in her presence and like
Oh,
just the way she holds herself. It's really stunning to see how that's like a beautiful reflection of that philosophy. And so like bravo, way to go. Just
Thank you.
way to go.
we've actually spoken about this in a previous episode. We've sort of touched on it, but not being parents ourselves, I guess it was a topic we felt like we couldn't elaborate on much. So maybe this is the perfect time. And that was, you know, in my opinion, just sort of watching and observing, you know, parents and children and interactions and having worked in the space with a lot of kids, that what you like the actions that you take and what you say to even yourself and things like, you know, when particularly with daughters, in my opinion, when you're going on diets, you know, they're watching you and they emulate that behavior and that takes a big toll on how they view themselves and stuff. So
Yeah.
is that something that you'd be, I guess, happy to elaborate on? Because we were sort of, I guess I was speculating or we were, you know, throwing out ideas, but we don't have experience in that way.
I mean, I would say, yeah, definitely. Um, she watches and pays attention to everything, and she soaks it up. And whether it's me or my fiance, um, she she definitely um not only pays attention, but she like puts those things into action. And um she's very sassy, like very sassy. And sometimes I'll just have to tell her like, this is not the time. All the other times, good. This is not the time to be sassy, you know? But the things that I tell her and like I see her telling other kids that, like especially younger kids, and I see her like how she like self-soothes and like breathes and like I don't know where she gets it because when I was 9, I was not anywhere near emotionally intelligent like how she is and can talk about her feelings and I was still worried about Ninja Turtles and you know little boy stuff. I could care less about my feelings and how I felt about something, but um I I have to pay attention because she will come to me and you know tell me how she feels and I'm just sometimes I'll just look at her like wow, like you're 9 years old and you just told me a very like complex feeling about how you feeling about something. It's over something silly, but it's how you feel and it's big to you in your little world. So I'm just like, I'm glad you told me. I'm glad you feel comfortable speaking to me about this.
I know where she got it from. Just saying. I know where she got it from. There we go with the humbleness again, Zach. Just, you know.
No, I don't know where she
Yeah.
got it from. She's just a great kid.
Zach, I think she might have got it from you. Just saying.
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, this is the first time I've ever met you, so I don't know, but reading between the lines.
I was like, this woman has known you for 20 minutes and she's calling you out.
I love it.
That's my style, you know. We don't beat
I
around the
know.
bush.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that saying? We don't beat around the bush.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably means a lot like more there because don't y'all say bush a lot for
Oh,
stuff or
yeah,
like
yeah, I live in the bush.
yeah.
Literally live in the bush.
And y'all got like every animal and insect in the world there, don't y'all? Just running free.
We have a lot, but I feel like it's really embellished. Like I don't really
No,
think it's that bad.
Sal, we were having a conversation about your garden and you were like, but the kangaroos ate my carrots or whatever. And I'm like, I'm sorry. The kangaroos, like you're talking about them like they're raccoons in your backyard. They're
Well, they are in the backyard.
Are
so
they like, do y'all have deer there or like are
Yeah,
the kangaroo deer?
we have deer as well. Yeah,
Got you.
yeah. In
And
certain areas, we don't have deer near where I am,
mm,
but near where
but
my
there are
parents are.
deer.
Oh yeah.
and snakes and spiders and
Yeah, but you
lizards
guys have
and
snakes and spiders too.
not Australian kind. Those are where they are made.
Well, I was talking to someone the other day. I feel like it's, I don't know. I don't know what the perception is, but it's like you guys, I don't know. The rest of the world thinks we have like snakes just hanging out in our yard by the thousands and spiders just crawling up our walls and stuff. We don't.
I think it's social media because a lot of times when people talk about wild animals, they're like, "Oh yeah, I was in Australia. I was in Australia. I was in Australia." I'm like, all of Australia is a jungle. That's what it seems like.
That's not a jungle. Look, admittedly, we have had snakes inside before, I will say. But
I have not, Sal. That is not a common occurrence.
no, but I need to preface it by saying we don't live in cities. Like when that has happened, we live like in the bush, right?
Mm,
So you would kind of expect, well, not
the
really
bush.
inside, but it's more likely to happen because you're in the bush. In the city, that would like not happen. Like
Gotcha.
nobody has ever had a snake in their home in the middle of the city. Like, no, that doesn't happen. But in the bush, well, I have had two, actually. My mum's been bitten by a snake twice in her life.
See, that's
What?
see.
Yeah, but that's
That's
not
what I'm
common,
saying.
guys. I'm not
You're
really
not
common.
helping.
I'm not helping. Anyway, not the topic. Anyway, we can talk about that another day. Next topic on the podcast is Australian dangerous animals and the
Is
realism
what?
of it.
Australia's most dangerous animals.
Sorry, sidetrack.
We
Not-
have
not
learned
the
a lot, though, about the difference between the American and the Australian lifestyle and language and literally everything. And it's been a hoot. There's a lot of words I've learned, a lot of words and a lot of phrases and some things I didn't know were even possible. Did you know, actually, because we'll have to think about this soon, Sal, that Australia and the US both observe daylight savings, but we don't change time, like we don't change during the same week?
Didn't this happen to us?
Yeah, it happened last year or earlier this year when we did the spring ahead and fall back, and we had the time zone changed, but it was different. Like the time changed on different weeks, so we had to keep paying attention for like 3 solid weeks. Anyway, neither here nor there.
I like this when you was doing this.
I just, it's the dance moves and the words that happen. They're good. They keep me happy. You said something about like social media and their perception of Australia.
Mhm.
And it made me think like how you show up on social media and how it is, I feel like, fighting against a current of negativity, but you put out so much positivity onto social media. And I wondered if you could just like speak to that a little bit and all of the wonderful things you've put out that are brilliantly positive.
Well, thank you. I don't really look at it like that. I just look at it like, if one person sees whatever goofy stuff I'm saying and they relate to it, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Whether it's me telling you, go after your dreams, or don't let anybody, get you upset today, or whatever message I have, um, as long as it reaches somebody, that's all I care about because it's so much negativity out there that like if I can get one person a day, I'm doing my job.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too.
Same. I was nodding. I was like, yeah. I think that's how it's a really good way to look at things because I can't remember if I was reading or listening to something the other day, but it's like we overestimate our like impact in the short term and in the long term. Like if you just tick away little bits and pieces, you've probably impacted hundreds or thousands. Are we actually not connected on social media, which is ridiculous, but we will be. and I will
Yeah.
be able to see all these positive things because I want that. But, one person, I bet you've impacted heaps. Like someone has seen it, then someone else, and someone else. So your impact over time would be so great, but we just need to view it as a
You
little
know,
thing.
one thing I will say off of what you just said, I don't really ever see it unless, somebody comments and is like, I needed to hear that or thanks for posting that. But what I do see is not the people that comment, not my followers, not any of that. It's when I'm out in public and somebody that I know never comments, never interacts with my stuff is like, I like when you posted this thing 3 weeks ago. It helped me through something. And I'm like, you are welcome. Like, I'm glad I posted it. I'm glad you seen it. I'm glad you are out of whatever, you was going through at that moment. And like, that's what I do that for.
Well, that's so special, honestly.
Cut it out. Cut it out. Sal, now I'm gonna tell you, cut it out.
Cut it out.
No, we're not
No,
going to
it
cut it
is
out.
though. We're not going to cut it out.
We're not going to apologize for saying nice things ever. So
No,
I have a question with that. Is there was there a time when you put out your first videos like those, when they were sharing positive things, were they for you or for other people? Or where did
Oh,
that come from? Where did that
it
come from originally?
it was for me. Just because especially when I first started doing it, because when I first started doing it, I've always been a pretty positive person. But it was when I started noticing I have to put in the work to be positive sometimes, that some days I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. But I'm like, you know what? Get out of this mood. I'm gonna be good. So when I made these videos, it's like saying it out loud helped me. So I'm just like, maybe this will help somebody else. So I'm just like, let me say it in front of my phone. Cause I would say stuff in the mirror. And once that I got past that awkward stage of talking to myself in the mirror, I'm like, let me say it to my phone, just to, like a little mirror, and that other people can see through. So it was definitely for me at first, and
Yeah.
it still is, but I know it can help other people too.
Mm. I think that's a really important message, and we bring it up a lot. It's, us being positive and we're laughing and happy on the podcast, and we come across like that all the time because that's when our listeners are listening to us. But every person on this planet, well, Katie sounds like she's positive all the time. No. But every person on this planet, we're not always positive 100% of the time. That's actually not possible. Like there are times when we feel like shit and we want to like hide in our room and lay under the doona. So it does take work for everybody. What?
The
What's a
Duna.
Duna?
Oh, the doona. Duvet. Lay under the bed covers or the duvet.
Oh, okay, okay.
He was like, what is a doona? And it's like, it takes work. So just know that, like, if you, maybe sometimes it swings as well. Sometimes maybe there are
Yeah,
more days that you're feeling shitty than others. And sometimes
yeah,
in your life, it's more days that you're feeling positive. So in those times that you're feeling shitty more often than not, it does take more work.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it
okay.
definitely does.
I've started sharing more of the times when I feel like garbage, just so that people see the process and that it's like I have to work toward being a happy, positive person. Like Saturday, you should have seen me. I was a sad sack of potatoes. Like it was not good. Poor Nathan, and bless that man for his patience, kindness, and just love, because he just loved me right through my sad sack of potato-ness. And then yesterday, something really frustrated me in the morning, like really got under my skin. And it took a lot for me to just switch the mindset and say, all right, instead of sitting in this space, we're going to do something about it, number one. And
Yeah,
two, we're going to practice some positive coping mechanisms. And I put that out there also onto social media to be like, all right, I'm in this space. Here's the things I'm doing to try to adjust my mindset, adjust my attitude, because your girl needed an attitude adjustment like hard. So putting it out there, I think, helps a lot of other people, whether we see it or not, and whether we see the return on it or not. And it's not always easy. So, we share the pros, the cons, the ups, the downs, the whatever
Yeah.
it looks like.
I will hopefully one day get to that point. I have tried to do videos like that, and I am a crier. So I will start crying, and then I feel extremely silly. And I'm like, I'm not gonna just be crying on the internet. So then I never post a video. But then I'm like, I got the tears out, so I feel better now. But yeah, I think also showing down times is important too.
Yeah.
It's the
It's okay to
vulnerability.
cry on the internet. Sorry, go ahead, Sal.
No, I was finished. We said that was both of those things like boom, boom. It's okay to cry on the internet, number one. It's vulnerability, number two. But I hear what you're saying as well, Zach, though, because I think there needs, and this is just an opinion, like I do believe that there are things that should not be shared on the internet. Like I think there are times in our life that, warrants privacy. And I think that's really important to honor, because I personally wouldn't want to give the message that we do share everything on the internet, particularly when it relates to other people in our life as well. If it's something completely intrinsic, completely personal, and you're making the choice, that may be a little bit different. But if it's with things that frustrate us, like you're talking about, with that someone else or something that's happened which involves other people, that's also implicating them as well. And I think people forget that does spread quite quickly to others. So I think that's just, again, opinion. I don't, if people want to cry on the internet, I'm not sitting back and judging. By all means, I don't care, go to town.
Yeah.
But I think,
there's a line. There's definitely a line there between sharing your own experience versus sharing other people's implications. And so, like, in my frustration, I did not talk about the issue. I did not talk about any of it, but rather how we move on from this place of the emotion. And the only time I think I usually, like, personally cry on the internet is when it's about my own physical pain or my own, like, healthcare journey, because that's about me. So that's a super important point, Sal. I do appreciate that.
So I guess,
Yeah.
Zach, like, now that I've learned a bit about you, this is a hard question, I know, and we have asked our guests this. So is there a piece of advice, or is there something that you would tell your younger self that you know now that would help them? It's like, really, Sally? You throw this at me?
Believe in yourself. That was probably the biggest thing that I conquered, being in the situations that I've been in growing up. Believing in myself, honestly, shit, I didn't start believing in myself probably till I started going to therapy. And it wasn't until I, seen other people go through this, other people have issues, other people, I didn't know technically what anxiety was. I never addressed it. I just always pushed it aside. So when it was explained to me what it was, I'm like, I've dealt with this all my life and just never knew what it was. And so believing in myself and knowing that it's okay to fail and not being perfect, like you don't have to be perfect. I, I would tell myself that all the time, like you don't have to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. Um, Learn from your mistakes. And I would tell myself this, and I would tell everybody this: do what you want to do. And I know that sounds cliche, but like photography taught me that, because when I first started photography, I would try to make my shit look like other photographers because they were successful and nothing happened. So I would go to another photographer that I liked and try to make my pictures look like theirs, and nothing would happen. It was not until I started going with my vision and how I like to create art and what I seen in people that I blew up. And I'm just like, you gotta follow your vision no matter what and do what you want to do. And people will, if it's something that you want people to see and be a part of, if you believe it, other people will too. So from the jump, I would tell myself, believe in yourself because you got this. And pick up a camera right now.
I love that. It's true.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
really that's a really big one. And something
Mm.
I think we all need to hear probably a lot more regularly. Is just believe in yourself.
Mm.
For real.
Mm. Particularly children, I think. Just saying.
Yeah. I had an issue with that too because I never want to come off cocky or like, full of myself. So it was kind of hard walking that balance, walking that line because I want to have confidence in myself and believe in myself, but I also don't want to come off, cocky like that. I think I've learned how to, balance that now because I'm like, I believe in myself and I know I'm good at what I do, but that I don't throw shade on other people, so it's like I'm in my lane going on this, highway through life. And when I see other people in their lane, I'm like, I'll just wave, hey, how you doing? And especially photographers, like photographers, when I started making a name for myself, like photographers would be like, oh, Zach's going to be there. I'm not going. And I'm like, listen, bro, we can shoot the same person. 50 photographers can shoot the same person, the same thing. It's all going to look different. We all have different odds. And I tell photographers, like, if you see me somewhere, that don't mean leave. Let's shoot this event. Let's shoot this, like whatever it is. And I wish more photographers thought like that, and I wish more photographers followed their own dreams and follow, what they want to do, and help people coming up as you are coming up. Because when I was starting to do this, like I used to ask older photographers, like, "Hey, how do you do this? What does this mean?" And it was always, "Well, I went to school for this. You got to figure it out." And I'm like, okay. And then when I started, making a name for myself, some of those photographers would be like, "Hey, how do you do this? And what is this? And how did you do this?" And I'm like, just a little small amount was like, figure it out, you know? But I was just like, nah, that's not me. That's not who I am as a person. And I will give all the knowledge that I can, to help another photographer start their journey.
Yeah.
Best
I
way to
forgot
be.
what the question was. I don't know if I answered it, but
Oh, yeah,
I
you
just
did.
kept talking.
100%. You answered and beyond. I've got so many more questions, but I'm just mindful of time.
Right. I'm like, gosh, if we could all be a little bit more like that with not just with photography. I'm like, yeah, we all have a different lens that we look through and we all have these different settings within us and we have, just a different perspective on life. So why not just share the space because there's space for all of us.
For real.
100%.
So there.
Well, Katie, you nailed it. Zach was the perfect first American, first male guest. Just saying.
Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt. First American, first male guest. Don't nobody gotta know what it means. We know what it means.
We know what it means. That's important.
I will know what it means. You get the award, the trophy for this one. Before we wrap up, just is there anything else you want to share? You want people to hear, or that you feel, I don't know, a message you feel like you need to get out there?
Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I always say that, but like now, given the state of things, like I mean that from a different part of my soul. Like be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And I truly feel if you lead with that, everything will be fine. Everything will work itself out.
Yeah. All right. Go be kind. Go be awesome. Have a beautiful day.
Y'all too.
Where can the whole of the internet find you?
Oh yeah, you can find first of all, you can find me on Facebook, 1221 Photography. You can find me on Instagram, 1221 underscore photography, 1221photography.com. You feel me? Everything, I'm out here. I want to
Awesome.
be in Australia in the bush, so maybe 1221 photography in the bush will be a thing one day, you know.
Please.
We'll buy the domain now. Like we gotta keep it on lockdown here.
1221
Yes,
under the dunas in the bush.
that's
Under
right.
the dunas in the bush. Excellent. Excellent. On that note, have a great rest of your week, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
See
All
you
right.
later.
Bye-bye.